Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago, known to some of you as Beetlejuice, lambasted on social media for allowing security detail to park in the bike lane while she goes to buy donuts. Those are not good optics, is what we would say. Oh, the optics in that scenario, not good. And the reason this is particularly bad is that Chicago has had the most number of bicyclist deaths happen during her tenure as mayor. Not good. Mayor, maybe when you go to get some donuts, you could park with your security guard detail and your two big SUVs. Maybe you could park, I don't know, in a parking lot. That's an option, right? Nah, just pull over, guys. It'll be fine. I mean, these bicyclists, they can go out on the road. We're going to talk about that. Let's get into it. What's the dealio? Let's see what's happening. Mayor Lori Lightfoot is taking a beating on social media. When is Mayor Lightfoot not taking a beating? I mean, whenever she opens up her mouth, she says something that is just absolutely ridiculous. And the rest of us go, what is she talking about? This person should not be mayor of anything, anywhere. From cycling enthusiasts and other city council champions for allowing her bodyguard detail and security tail car to park both SUVs in a bike lane so she could run into a Northside donut shop. All right. Donuts. Yeah. Gonna go get us some donuts. We're gonna get some sugar and, the carb. We're gonna eat some donuts. During the pandemic, Lightfoot was accused of do as I say, not as I do hypocrisy for getting her hair cut at a time when beauty parlors were shut down. Didn't Pelosi do that as well? I think so. Remember how they would, a lot of the mayors and governors of these states that shut everything down, they went to Florida for vacation and didn't wear a mask, but they were telling their constituents back home, like in California, oh, you got to mask up. You got to mask up. You got to follow all this protocol. Meanwhile, I'm going to book it to Florida where things are free and we're not doing that kind of nonsense, right? The mayor defended it after photos surfaced on social media showing her getting her haircut without wearing a mask. I think Pelosi said that, I'm a political figure and so I got to look good. The rest of you, go F yourselves. That was literally the message, right? It happened again on November 9th when the advocacy group Bike Lane Uprising. Whew, that's some serious business there. Now, people are getting killed, right? You got bike lanes so that bicyclists can ride their bike there and not get run over by cars. I rode my scooter on the sidewalk this past summer because I didn't know. I kind of knew, but I'm riding my scooter because I'm just trying to work it out and figure out how to ride the lime green scooter and not get killed. And so I rode for a little bit on a sidewalk until this lady with her dog really gave me the stink eye. The whole, what are you doing? And I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, okay. So then I took my scooter and I went into the traffic lane, but it's scary there. You could get killed riding a scooter in Seattle traffic. Don't recommend. So if you got a bike lane, use it. But then what if the mayor is stopping by to get some donuts and you got to pull your scooter out in the oncoming traffic and poof, gone. No more podcast. The first showed a Merrill SUV parked in the North Avenue bike lane outside Roser's Bakery at whatever address. The other showed Lightfoot waiting in line inside the bakery. Oh, you literally can't make this stuff up. You cannot make it up. Whose thought process was, just pull into the bike lane. It'll be fine. It's like pulling and parking in a handicap spot. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Coincidentally, was at Roser's the same time as Lori Lightfoot, this is the Post, observed her entourage, 2 XL SUVs, probably bulletproof, because she needs it, park in the North Avenue bike lane for 10 minutes for some damn donuts. Unreal, said cycling enthusiast Sarah Braunmeyer, wrote between the 2 photos she apparently took that day. The Bike Lane Uprising tweet, first reported by Block Club Chicago, says, hey, at Chicago's mayor, parking in bike lanes so you can get donuts means you value donuts over the lives of bicyclists. Those are the optics, right? I mean, in reality, it's a real deal. We're not talking about a situation that doesn't actually have repercussions when, this kind of thing happens. We know it happens. A record number of cyclists have been killed during your term. We need a mayor that leads by example. This ain't it. Well, I think a lot of people would agree with this statement that Mayor Lori Lightfoot is terrible. She is awful, awful. And she's just kind of let her city go in the crapper. She literally has. When you've got CEOs of big companies like McDonald's and Citadel saying, hey, you know what? We're moving our corporate headquarters out. And then Lori Lightfoot points at a study that she had one of her dudes create and says, these guys need to educate themselves. That's the kind of leadership that you're looking at in Chicago that is resulting in these types of stories coming out. The mayor's office did not respond to requests for comment. That's shocking. I don't get it. The pictures that I'm looking at, they're just parked right in the bike lane. I mean, there's no getting around it, literally and figuratively. There's no getting around it. Northside Alderman Alderman Vasquez was outraged. Earlier this year, Vasquez proposed a crackdown on bike lane obstructions with sign requirements and stepped up ticketing and towing to prevent a repeat of the tragic accident that killed 3-year-old Lily Grace Shambrook. All right, with the number of folks that are murdered in Chicago every year, like one every 12 minutes, roughly, there's a shooting that happens every, 2.5 minutes in Chicago, in the city of Chicago? 2.5 minutes, a shooting happens. So since we've been talking, we've got how many shootings have happened? A handful, right? And probably one person has had their life ended in Chicago while we've been here doing this little deal, right? So, you put that in context and then people parking in a bike lane. That whole Mad Max concept of shootings happening in Chicago, ticketing and cracking down on bike lane, obstructions. Probably not happening. On June 9th, the toddler was riding in a carrier attached to her mother's bike when she was struck and killed by a semi-truck. Her mother was maneuvering around a ComEd truck blocking the bike lane. So we have real life experience with, hey, if you're parked illegally in a bike lane, somebody's life may be ended. That was it. The traffic accident, one of 3 fatal incidents in June alone involving children struck and killed on Chicago streets, occurred on a busy uptown block that had triggered a barrage of complaints from local residents. Even as we've been trying to move legislation to get it done through the Transportation Committee, the administration has been blocking us left and right, Vasquez told the Chicago Sun-Times, because they don't care. They simply don't care. Don't care. Don't care about the citizens of Chicago. The numbers speak for themselves, right? I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. It's clear as day. Your political leaders don't care. I'm trying to figure out what else she does besides block, because that's what it feels like. Between blocking this, blocking the Anjanette Young Ordinance, blocking Bring Chicago Home, it seems like that's her move. She doesn't deliver, she blocks. These are the residents of Chicago. This is what they're saying. I'm just reading it for you. Lightfoot announced earlier this year that Chicago will add 25 miles of concrete protected bike lanes by December 31st and convert all bike lanes protected by plastic posts to concrete separation by the end of 2023. All right, so it sounds like they got plans for a little bit, but how many miles of streets are there in Chicago? Probably a little more than 25. At the time, the mayor called it the biggest expansion and upgrade of low-stress bike routes in Chicago history. Meanwhile, she's parking in the bike lanes with not one, but both of her SUVs. Right? Huh. Yeah, that's not a good look. All right. So getting back to the story. After the donut shop episode, Vasquez said, I have concerns about how seriously this administration is taking infrastructure and transportation, knowing we have more cyclists. And it's really not the best to send a signal to Chicago, and they should do as I say, not as I do. That's the ongoing theme here, isn't it? It's the ongoing theme. Do this. Here's what I'm going to do. Yeah. Interesting, right? It's a message of duplicity, like this article says. It doesn't set the right example as a leader of this city, and especially as someone who believes in the green revolution. Bicycling. Get on that bad motor scooter and ride. I like my green lime scooter. Those are very fun. Bicycles, yeah. And if you're riding in the bike lane, you should be safe. That's the whole point of having a bike lane. Politicians, especially the mayor, getting donuts. Yeah, shouldn't be parked there. But we know that. We know that because we're reasonable. This kind of activity is not. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Just more bad optics, right? Ugh. Thanks again for being here. We'll catch up soon. Bye for now.